Maggie and Erev Shabbos Parshas Emor, a quick Vort, and a story from Rav Moshe Feinstein. The Parshas called to Emor because of all the things, the Amira that Moshe Rabbeinu was told to tell the Kehanim of the Tahara they have to keep and all the extra halachas of being part of the priesthood, the Kahuna. And Rav Moshe Feinstein points out a Mori Degenakuda. He says that Emor is a lashon racha, talking nicely. Because talk nicely, talk with a softness, a kindness, a sweetness. Daber, Vayedaber Hashem is a lashon kasha. It's a little more emphatic, stronger, more solid, I guess. So Hashem specifically is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, when you tell the Kahanim these extra halachas that they're going to need to keep, and there's being a kohen, Bizman Shabbos Mikdash Kaim is not a pashut. It's a totally different life with the Trumas and Tahara and everything. It's a whole another existence. You're dedicated to Hashem entirely. So there's chumras on top of chumras, especially there are abundance. Tell the Kehanim these halachas with an amira. It's something sweet. Let them know that it's beautiful to have a chumrah in your life for their Rebbeinu Shalom, and it's beautiful to dedicate yourself to do things that are uncomfortable and constricting, so to speak. But you're being constricted and contained in the most beautiful box in the world, and someone who doesn't live in a box is totally lost. The Kahanim have even more of that beautiful connection. I have a cousin who lives a beautiful, beautiful Yerushalmi life, and their Pesach, they live a Badatz Pesach. Every Chumrah, and Pesach is the time to pull out all the Chumrah stops, and their house radiates. Everything is, Mahadrin and Mahadrin. Like you can't have a thought of chametz when you walk into their home at Pesach time. The entire Nisan, and it's such a beautiful. You can feel it. You can feel the simcha of avodas Hashem there. The Meister of the Moshe Feinstein is Azeh. Rev Malkiel Cutler had a brother. Right, Shneir Cutler had a son. I believe it was Rev Meir Cutler, and right shortly after he got engaged, Leilenu, which never knows such things, he was diagnosed with a late stage cancer, uncurable, and they knew he was going to die. So the girl's parents said, the engagement's off, and the girl thought about it and said, you know what? Maybe I want to marry him. It's like, yeah, I know, and we're not going to be married very long, and it's going to have a sad ending. But if I can be married to a tzaddik, maybe this is my job. Maybe this is my schus. And her parents were very against the idea, and they decided to go to Rav Moshe Feinstein to go to Hadar. Rav Moshe sat and listened to the two tzadim, and he said, I hear the parents' concern, but if the girl, and I would never tell the girl to go ahead and marry someone who is going to die soon, medically, but if she's up for it, kol hakavod. But on one tonight, he says, I want to be Masada Kedushin. Says Rav Moshe Feinstein. They said, you know what? No problem. So, sure enough, they set a date for the wedding, and it was sort of a bittersweet, chuppah. Everyone knew the medical situation, and it was also really beautiful that this girl was being, Meiser Nafsha, to marry a Talmid Chacham. And at the chuppah, Rav Moshe did something untraditional. He got up and he spoke, which is not in typical right-wing circles. There aren't speeches by the chuppah. We read the ksuba, but nothing in English, not in Aramaic. And he got up and he gave a speech, and he gave them a bracha. He gave them a bracha that they should be zeicha to have children. And it was just an uncomfortable bracha. Everyone said amen, and the God there says they can have children, but they knew what his situation was, and okay. A couple months later, Taka, she finds out she's pregnant. And even more incredibly, Rav Meir's medical situation didn't get worse. And he was sort of, stable. And he was alive and well for the bris. So by the time the bris came about, 9 months later, had a beautiful baby boy. There was a tremendous simcha that the father was able to be there. And Rav Moshe's bracha came true. It was just incredible. After the bris, things calmed down. And Rav Meir noticed that his wife was a little despondent, and he thought maybe it was in postpartum. depression. And he asked her, and she said, "No, really, I'm okay." So he asked her, like, "Tell me, I see something's on your mind." And she said, Rav Moshe gave us a bracha. He said, "Yeah, under the chuppah. What did he say? That we're gonna have children." She said, "Yeah, children is plural. We're gonna have another kid. If Moshe finds it and says we're having children, we're having children." And she said, "Maybe, we'll have another kid, but after that we have no more guarantees. Why don't you go and learn? Go like Rabbi Akiva. We're in Tzfir Saimer. Go like Rabbi Akiva. Go learn until we have another kid, at least." And he said, "I don't know." She said, "Let's go to Rav Moshe." So they went to Rav Moshe, and Rav Moshe said, "Absolutely not. No, Rabbi Akiva was Yochid Ba'ilamai. There's nothing to leave for 12 years, 24 years. That's not something which is for us." And he said, "Absolutely not. Obviously continue learning, but to just run off and stay in yeshiva secluded, don't do that." The Taka had another kid. They had another kid, but the next bris was a little more sad because Rav Meir was already a little sicker at that point. They had the bris, and it was a beautiful event. And mamash 2 weeks after the second bris, Rav Meir was nifter. Shortly after, she got remarried to a man who had 2 sons. So between the two of them, they had 4 sons. And they tried having more kids, but it wasn't going. So they went to doctors and fertility tests and all these procedures, and nothing was working until they found themselves, years after years, trying to have children in her second marriage. They found themselves at the top doctor in this whole area, and they said, give us what's the situation? Like, if you could give us some way to have children, we have a chance. And he looked over all the medical records, and he did his own testing. And the doctor said, "I would bet my entire medical career, my name, my reputation, and everything that I've ever learned in medical knowledge, this woman cannot have children. Never will, never have." So, they said, it happens to be, she already had 2 children, and he said, that's impossible. I can't explain that. That was a miracle. Her parents, and she thought that she was doing the biggest chesed in the world by marrying someone who was sick, terminally ill. But she got 2 children that never could have existed b'derech hateva. Doing chumras for the Rabbeinu Shalom. Let's see if we could tie it together. Emor l'kahanim, b'nei Aaron. Doing those chumras, we feel like we're giving of ourselves for Hashem, but nothing we ever do for Hashem is empty. If we are doing something and sacrificing for Hashem, then we, at least a base level, we are going to gain a closer relationship to He who we are sacrificing for. That always is going to pay off. There's nothing more valuable than a relationship, a closeness to Hashem. And you never know, you might see some dividends in this world too. May we be zeicha to taste the sweetness, the amira of all the chumras and the beautiful things that we have in our life, the things that we can give from the little, whatever Hashem has given us, whatever we can give back and use for Avodas Hashem, where we taste that sweetness and enjoy being in the service of Hashem and Avdu the Kuch Baruch Hu. Have an amazing Shabbos.